Well, I think that second innings, second Test match knock in Gaul just gave him a huge amount of confidence, and he's taken that technique, that mind set of playing spin, getting closer to it, really smothering that full of length delivery, going right back to the shorter length deliveries. A very simple method of where he's looking to score to the off spin. He's just looking to work it on the onside. Every now and again he'll punch it through the offside off the back foot. He's played 2 or 3 nice sweep shots, so that's something that we didn't necessarily see against Sri Lanka. I love players that show a huge amount of character, and when you've had 3 innings in subcontinent conditions and got out to the same bowler 3 consecutive times for a score less than 10, your character gets challenged at this level, because he would have known, and rightfully so, that the pundits and the supporters and social media would have been alight with, Sibley can't play spin, he's got no chance, England have got to get rid of him, who's going to open the batting? And that innings in the second test in Gaul was a big one for him. And now he's arrived in Chennai. The pitch is good, they win the toss, but you're up against better bowlers. Ashwin is a better bowler than what he would have faced against Sri Lanka. Even though the pitch is better, he's still up against a more powerful team. Virat Kohli stood a few yards away for you, the superstar, just looking at you and looking at every move. An Indian side that have just won in Australia, full of confidence, and he's managed to just go to his method, which is occupy the crease.
Yes.
It's just a very simple method that he has, that he's got 2 or 3 scoring areas, generally on the onside, and he just sticks to them. He leaves well outside of off stump, he makes the bowlers come to him, and he just, even if he has, and he's had a few times today where he's not scored at all freely, it's been a grind, he's just kind of been occupying the crease, making sure he's there for the skipper, but he's not gone out of his bubble, and that takes a huge amount of mental strength just to stay in your game at this level under that amount of pressure. Yeah, and I do think when you look back to Alistair, he was born to do that. From the age of whenever he started playing a game, 8 or 9, he always opened the bat, and he wanted to bat long periods of time. School cricket, junior cricket, went to adult cricket, obviously Essex, and then on for England. And Dom Sibley's very similar. He's always been at the top of the order. He's always got big scores, and it's embedded in his system that he knows how to bat for a long period of time, and he likes runs. There's no hiding from the fact that when you're an international player and you're a top order batsman, you are judged, your currency is runs. At the end of today, all he's going to go back to his room and think about the runs he's got. He's not going to be bothered that he's taken him 270, 80 balls. It's the runs and it's the end column that he's looking after, and it's just his method. It's the way that he's going about his business. I believe in Test match cricket, every single Test match team, they need a Dom Sibley or a Pujara. You need one, because the way that he's played, it's given Joe Root the confidence to go and play more aggressively in the afternoon session, because he knew he had the rock at the other end, just kind of holding fort. Ben Stokes will feel exactly the same way, a Butler, a Oliver. If you've got a Sibley that's just going to wear the opposing bowlers down, so you speak to Ashwin and Bumrah tonight and Ishant Sharma, you know what it's like as a bowler. If you're running into someone like Dom Sibley, you're busting a gut, and all of a sudden he's just going boom, boom, and leaving. You get bored, you're getting tired, and it just helps the rest of the team. And a bowler's best friend is a batter in your team like Dom Sibley. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in the first innings you can be as selfish as you like. You can play exactly how you want to play in the first innings. In the second innings, if the game's trying to be set up, well, you might have to change your way. And if you are playing in a similar way in the second innings as the first innings, because it's just the way that you play, well, then you can start pointing the finger of someone being a selfish batter. But in the first innings, you're opening the batting, you can do whatever you like. You can just bat and bat and bat. I guess the question will come, particularly in Australia, if you bat so slowly on day one and all of a sudden the second new Kookaburra ball is taken late on in the day and you lose 2 or 3 wickets, and you allow the Australians back into the game because you've not quite grasped that 50 to 80 over period where the Kookaburra ball does nothing. I guess that you could have the finger pointed at you, but in India, on the subcontinent, you just know that first innings runs are so important that you just want to bat as long as you possibly can. And if it takes you till 20 overs to go before you declare on day 2 to allow the Indians to have a bat, and it's 550 on the board, and Dom Sibley's batted the majority of those overs, I think it's the perfect way to play Test match cricket. Too long we criticised England for being too aggressive and too flamboyant, and now all of a sudden we've got a player that plays Test match cricket the right way. We can't criticise the way that he's playing. I think he's doing a brilliant job for the team. Yeah, it is. It's exactly that. I mean, again, as a bowler, on this kind of wicket, which is a road, at the minute it'll deteriorate on days 3, 4 and 5. I've no doubt about that. what would you like a batter to be doing, taking huge risks? So he's basically doing what the bowlers don't want him to do, which is just wear them down, just rotate the strike. I think a question that you would ask Joe Root, is he frustrating to bat with? Because you don't always get the strike. And I've not seen Joe Root frustrated today. He will be absolutely delighted for the odd over where he can sit on his bat at the non-striker's end, knowing full well that he's probably not going to get down the business end. But it gives him a breather. I think it's been the perfect first day as a batting unit of the way that you need to play on a good pitch against a good attack in conditions that are tough. You've just got to set your foundation to make sure that you're looking to bat a long period of time, and that's exactly what England have done today. Yeah, and Chris Silverwood, I'm delighted you mentioned him because he deserves all the credit. You think Trevor Bayliss was a wonderful white ball coach, but never felt that he grasped test match cricket in the right manner. I always felt it was just an afterthought. Just play test match cricket, we'll play it aggressively. Well, yeah, you'll win games playing aggressively, but you'll also lose a lot of games as well. So you won't get the consistency that you require if you're going to go to challenge the best teams in the world. To win in Australia, you've got to play this way. You've got to try and wear the Australians down. If you're going to compete against an Indian side in Indian conditions, you have to try and wear them down over a long period of time. You can't blow the best teams away with a 60-over batting innings. You just can't do that. But you can wear them down over the course of a long series by batting 130, 150 overs in the first innings, and it might be that it takes you to the third test match to win the game, but you're just going to make sure that you bat in your mindset to play out the first innings in particular for a long period of time. And we know that particularly in subcontinent conditions, if you can stay in the game long enough, it escalates quickly by the time it gets to days 4 and 5. And if you're ahead of it by batting first, which England are doing here, do exactly the same tomorrow. Don't even think about going up in the gears. My message to them, go again tomorrow and just make sure that if you can nullify very early in a test match that you can't lose, because you only have to go back to 2016 where England continuously batted first, got 450s and 470s and still lost the game. So even from this position, it's not a winning position, and it's not a position that you can't lose the game, because this Indian side could easily get 650. Yep. They're that good a cricket team. Bat the whole day tomorrow, maybe give them a few overs at the end of it, but go again. It's a good mechanism for success.